Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Arrow Season 7. So we are just over 3 weeks, I think, from Arrow being back on our screens, which is of course getting us hyped as ever. But as you would expect as you move into a new season for a TV show, you also get some new castings, some new characters, and that is the same for Arrow. So over the past 48 hours or so, we actually got the confirmation of the casting for one new character for this season, and over the past few weeks, we actually got a new casting description for a character or like a new villain showing up later on, which we will also go over. So first up, let's get into that new character that was cast for this season, and that character is known as Maya, a scrappy street fighter and thief from Star City. And she will be played by Katherine McNamara, who is recently best known for her role on Shadowhunters, which itself just came to an end in regards to filming. Now, this isn't 100% confirmed, but sources are saying that Maya is the official character name for a casting notice sent out under the character name of Jesse Bowden, which we did go over a while ago when it was initially released, which described her as the rookie recruit in the Star City Police Department and is both athletic, comedic, and intelligent. But underneath her youthful attitude lies a woman who has had enough of vigilantes in Star City and is willing to get rid of them no matter what it takes. Think of her as Buffy Summers if she was slaying superheroes instead of vampires. However, due to Katherine McNamara's heritage, I think she might be playing another character from a casting notice sent out, and that is the one that was labelled Konami Rhodes. Now, I say this as I'm pretty sure Katherine McNamara is part Chinese. I might be wrong in that, but from what I've been able to find and look up, that is true. And just from looking at her, it does look like there could be some Asian heritage in her genetic makeup. And the character of Konami Rhodes was meant to be half Caucasian, half Asian, with her described as a formidable fighter who ends up clashing with the heroes of Star City. Her background consists of being a tactician in the military while also carrying on as a street fighter. And it is that last part that is fairly important to note, as the official release did say that she was a scrappy street fighter. So I think of the two, the Konami Rhodes casting description sounds the more likely of the two to actually end up being Maya, but obviously that will be for us to wait and find out. But the actress did post on Instagram that she was moving on to a new job, which is of course Arrow. So we should expect to see her show up around like episode 6 or 7 for, well, season 7. And also it is important to remember that at the beginning of this season, like vigilantes aren't a thing, they're illegal. So you wouldn't expect them to really be out or be back out on in like the streets of Star City until really Oliver gets out, or maybe like Roy would be the only one out there. I can't expect them going out and about and doing a lot of things. So I couldn't really see that cop being that relevant early on, and it'd make more sense if like this character came in and that's how she runs into the heroes of Star City, you know, when they start going out there. So I think that makes more sense that she would be Konami Rhodes. She could end up being that cop, but I think just the way that she's described from the official release, it sounds more like she would be that Konami Rhodes character from the casting description. And the next thing to go over is the casting description for a new character showing up this season who was a villain in the comics. And this casting description is for the villain known as Javelin, who in the comics is a nemesis, well not really a nemesis, that's a bit far, but a villain for Green Lantern. But this is what is said about him in detail. Described as smart and ruthless, Leonard Gibbons, aka Javelin, is a French chemical weapons trader. In the midst of a huge ongoing deal, he does business with an undercover Curtis Holt / Mr. Terrific, bringing Team Arrow squarely into the mix. The studio is currently on the lookout for a French-speaking male in his 30s to take on what was described as a large principal role. So in the comics, Javelin was an Olympic athlete who just randomly went on to become a criminal. Using his talents, he created an arsenal of various weapons based on spears to go on and become a mercenary. Now, on the show, it will be interesting to see whether he is still an ex-athlete, which would make things interesting between himself and Curtis, due to the fact that we know Curtis was an Olympian as well. So they could possibly have some ties from back in those more, well, competitive days, if you want to call them. It is hard to tell whether this is for multiple episodes or just the one episode. I know it says large principal role, but that could just mean he has a lot of lines in that one episode, like he's one of the main characters in that singular episode. But regardless, seeing that this casting is just coming out in the past couple of weeks, we probably won't see the character on Arrow until the back half of the season. And the last thing I wanted to go over in this video is an interview that Stephen Amell, who of course plays Oliver Queen, did with GreenArrowTV.com over the past few days. And this is what Stephen had to say about Emily Bett Rickards and her role as Felicity Smoke in the first episode for Season 7, which of course we should all know is a bit different than what we are used to seeing with that character. She has a kick-ass action scene that I know specifically that James Bamford let her go crazy with. In this action scene with a stunt performer. When I was watching it, it's actually happening alongside another action scene. I was actually kind of jealous with how visceral and aggressive Emily's scene was. I think people have seen the photos of when we get the chance to interact, and I just thought her performance in that scene was up there, or even better than anything else that she has ever done on the show. So, as I've been saying since we have started to learn more about Felicity's role this season, this could be the best of Felicity in the entire show's run, and that really comes down to it just being different, like a bit of a refresh than what we are used to seeing her do. Felicity, like, let's be honest, is put in a pretty shitty position after Oliver is sent to prison, with it being important to remember that she didn't know that Oliver had made that deal with the FBI, like, yo, I'll do all this and then I'm off to prison. So she is caught off guard and really given like no time to prepare for all of that, so she would be struggling emotionally with many things. But then Steven just went on to talk about Season 7 in general and what we could be looking forward to. The season feels very bold. To get new stuff to do with the character that you've been playing for 7 seasons now, it's not the easiest thing to pull off, so to be in prison and to be isolated from everyone else, and to have all of these new scene partners and a new dynamic about my personality and the way that Oliver is feeling and the way he's dealing with things, it's just a lot of fun. Now, Steven, that was a long sentence. You might want to, start putting some goddamn full stops in your quotes. So that's the main thing with this season, and the thing that is actually pretty impressive. It's season 7 of a comic book show, and they are still managing to keep it fresh, putting us in this much different environment with Oliver in prison, surrounded by, completely new characters for the most part. Obviously, we know we're getting a handful of returning villains, but everyone else is new to us. So I really can't wait for what is to hit our screens come October 15th. It should be great. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show your support. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think of the stuff we went over in this video? What do you think about Catherine McNamara's casting in Arrow Season 7? Did you know of her beforehand? She's been in a couple of things. Are you excited for that? Do you think she's playing that cop, or do you think she's playing that Konami Rhodes character? Let me know in the comments. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.